Okay, so good morning, everybody. A very big warm welcome to all of you. It's Monday morning, Magic Makeup Monday, and I'm here with Sally, and we're here to explore the importance of how you apply your makeup, really. When I was putting together Look Fabulous Forever as a business, I knew that I wanted video to show the application of the makeup. So I felt that what I was doing with LFF was twofold. One was to create a brand which had products which had been formulated to take account of all the changes that happen on the skin as we get older. And that had been the reason why I started the business and the focus for it, because I was buying makeup over the counter naturally from different brands and feeling very, very dissatisfied with a lot of what I was buying because they were formulated for a younger skin. So part of the intention that I had was that the formulations would be better and that they would definitely work better as working with the changes that happen as you get older. But the second thing that I wanted was it was almost like a training and education part of it, which sounds a bit grandiose, but I suppose my background as a management trainer meant that I had used video a lot during the 25, 30 years that I'd been working in that field. And I knew that people watching video was an incredibly powerful medium for explaining how things work, for showing people what to do. And, at the time that I started 8 years ago, YouTube was still, it was growing fast. But there wasn't an enormous amount of content available on YouTube for older women for application of makeup, which I think is one of the reasons why the first 2 videos we made were so fantastically successful. And, they've had now millions of views on them. And they were successful because we did very definitely show our customers, our potential customers, exactly how to use this makeup. This makeup is formulated for older skins, we would say in every video, but this is how you need to apply it. Now we're gonna illustrate that very dramatically this morning. We've put Sally onto no video at the moment because we don't want to spoil the surprise or possibly the shock, because you're going to be really shocked when you see what she's done. So she has done a half and half split makeup, and on one side she's applied her normal makeup, and on the other she's done something which is to make big mistakes and get it all wrong. And I think you'll be really surprised when you see the contrast between the two. So I'm going to ask Sally to put herself onto video.
Okay, let's give this a go.
Right, now Sally is at the moment showing you what you would normally see when Sally does makeup demonstrations. You can see her face, it's beautifully made up. She does a fantastic job on her eyes. She has a brilliant way of using our Look Fabulous Forever eye makeup to make her eyes look bigger and better. And she's wearing the right colour lipstick on her lips, and she's also wearing the right colours and shades of face makeup as well. She's used highlighter, she's used blusher, and that's pretty much what you would expect to see. Now get ready for the contrast. So Sally, if you like to take away that piece of paper. And I think you'll be able to see, it's not like sharp intake of breath, you'll be able to see the difference immediately between the right side of her face and the left side of her face. So this is as dramatic a demonstration as we can possibly create for you of the importance. She's used Look Fabulous Forever makeup on both sides of her face, so she hasn't gone and used other products. So she's used the right products in the wrong way. And she's now going to go through in detail what she's done and the mistakes that she's made, so that of course you can avoid making similar mistakes when you're applying your own makeup. So Sally, I'm going to pass over to you and you're going to basically talk us through.
Okay, thank you, Trisha. Good morning, everybody. Every single month I frighten my post lady, and today was no exception. She knocked on the door, and I think she thinks it's a very strange house that I live in. I had to try and explain what I was doing, and I think she just sort of ran away in fear. Thank you so much, Trisha. I have actually done, believe it or not, the same amount of makeup on each side of my face, and it's sort of taken the same amount of time, but hopefully you can see I've done some different things on both sides. So first of all, there are no absolute rules with makeup, and certainly some of the things I've done on this side, I used to do when I was younger, and I just have found over the years, I have had to adapt my makeup because my face has changed, my eyes have changed, things that were up have come down, there is crepiness, there's sagginess, there's bagginess, there's things that have happened. So what I've tried to demonstrate today is some of the things that I've talked about, or Trisha and I have talked about over the months before. So the first thing I have done on both sides is I did use my Smooth Like Silk face prime to keep my makeup on. Lovely, use this. On my left hand side, I created a sort of a custom bespoke foundation, because in the summer, if I do get a little bit of colour, I can actually wear the 2.5 continuous cover foundation. At the moment, I'm very pale, so I'm wearing the number 2 continuous cover foundation, which I love, but I've mixed it with a tiny bit of Light Look Beauty Balm number 1, which gives it just a little bit more colour. And I've also put a little bit of primer with that. So I've made for me, hopefully you can see that there is no mark here, and that side looks as though I'm not wearing foundation, but I'm much more even. Now on this side, I've gone straight into my summer continuous cover 2.5 makeup. And I think you can probably see what I haven't, I've just left, there's a tide mark here. And I do see that sometimes when ladies come for makeup lessons, they want to look a little bit more colourful. So they might go one step up with their foundation to kind of give them a little bit more colour. And if that's done badly and not blended, it will look as though they've got a floating face, and the face is sitting and it doesn't match with the neck, and it's just a little bit too dark. So what I've tried to show you is I haven't blended it sort of up here. I haven't blended it very well around the nose. I haven't done that little bit of my nose, which people sometimes forget. I haven't, but it is a beautiful product. And when it's worn, when in the right colorings, when it is buffed in, like I've done on this side, it looks fantastic. So I'm using the same makeup, but I haven't blended it on this side properly. Whereas on the other side, I have used my foundation brush, number 3, and I've really buffed this side in. So that's the first thing that I've done wrong, differently on this side. So the second thing I did is I applied my concealer. Now on this side, I have used the concealer number 2, which I actually feel really goes well. A concealer shouldn't make you look as though you've got panda eyes. And I've used on this side more concealer. You can sort of see it's much lighter and it's thicker. And therefore, you can see it's stuck into my lines quite a lot, because I've really heavily patted it in and I've gone very light, so I look quite pandery, and it's too obvious on this side, which is something that people often do. They think they've got to go really light on the concealer. And actually you don't want the concealer to look obvious. It's just trying to get rid of the darkness and the imperfections. So this side I've used concealer, cover to cover concealer number 2. This side I've used much heavier number 1. And I've also put the number 1 over my sort of sunspots and not blended it very well. Whereas hopefully you can see this side, it should look a little bit more blended. Okay, powder. I have used on this side some of our beautiful, where is it? Translucent powder, this one. I love this powder because it's really sheer, and I can put it on under my eyes to set my concealer, to set my foundation without it looking cakey. I actually have used a different powder. I haven't used the Look Fabulous powder, one that's not really very sheer on this side, and I put it on a little bit more heavily. Hence, you can see the lines under my eyes. So that's really worth knowing. If you're going to use powder, a sheer one, like the Look Fabulous one, just makes all the difference in an older face. So that's the powder. Okay. Brows. Now I've gone a little bit over the top here with the brows, but I wanted to demonstrate the brow and how what a difference a brow makes. So on this side, I have used my lovely spoolie brush to, first of all, just shape my brows. And then I use either the blonde bring back brow shape, or today I have demonstrated with the, I'll find it, here it is, the brown one, which I do sometimes use. And the way that I've done it is fairly sparingly, just little strokes, and I've lifted my brow because I want my makeup to look lifted. I brought it down so that it ends on the corner here, but I've tapered it down so it's not too harsh. Now on this side, I've actually used a brow pencil to demonstrate it's not as easy with a brow pencil to create feather-like, hair-like mimicry. So I tried, but the brow pencil I've used is also a little bit too orangey brown for my brows. So I've filled it in as best as I could, and I brought it down. So if you can see, it's a bit thicker here, and it's come down, which has the effect, I think, of dragging me down a lot more than this side. I've also brought it a little bit closer in, and just done what people often do with brows, and it's amazing. Brows can make all the difference to how your overall look comes out. So yes, that's the brows. Now, you might think, what has she done to her eyes? What has Sally done to her eyes? So on this side, I have used my favorite soft neutrals trio. So I have used rose gold all over the middle one. And I've applied it with my lovely fluffy eyeshadow brush number 7. I've then gone for the taupe, which I love, in a sort of arc just above my socket line. Now, the beauty of using these products is that they are matte. As we get older, the socket line area, particularly, as you can see quite well on this side, gets a little bit crepey, and what was lovely and smooth and lifted tends to droop a little bit, and it loses that lovely smoothness. So that if you put anything on the socket line that is shiny, it will just emphasize that crepiness. As you can see on this side, my eyes, I think, look dramatically different where I've put a shiny color here. So by putting a taupe matte color here and here, what it does is it pushes back and makes my socket line look a little bit higher and further back, because dark colors push back. So what I've done on this side is I've put a lighter color on the socket line area, which has basically pulled, as you can see here, it's pulled it forward and made it look heavier and crepier. And I've put a very dark color. I actually put aubergine all over, but then I used a different brand and put a very similar color to aubergine, but it's a little bit shiny all over my lid. So I put a very dark color on my lid. What I've done on this side is I have put a little bit of sheen, because I want to show you that you can use, because we've got some beautiful colors called the Sheer Brilliance lid color. So I have used the golden mist in the center of that eye to bring it forward. But what I haven't done is put it up here, because if I put it up here, it would have had that same effect as there. So I hope that sort of demonstrated a little bit on the eyeshadow. The other thing I've done on this side, which you can see, is I've brought the eyeshadow down quite a lot, the dark shadow down, which has had the effect of drooping this eye more than this eye. This eye, I've kept the eyeshadow sort of there. I haven't gone any lower with that dark. I could have done, but I've kept it fairly sort of, not vertical, but that angle, which has the appearance of lifting that side. So what I've done to define my eyes, because I love defining my eyes, and I see a lot of ladies who do what they did when they were younger. And I used to use thick, I remember when Princess Diana wore her electric blue eyeliner on her inner rim, and I used to love doing that. I would put lots of eyeliner on my inner rim, bright blue, electric, thought I looked amazing. And so what I've done on this side is I have recreated that look. I've used a black pencil eyeliner and I've put it on my inner rim and I brought it right in to my corner on this side. I've also used it underneath and I've just literally put it on in a line in the same sort of width all the way across underneath, if you can see. Whereas on this side, I haven't used a pencil. Now I could have used a pencil, but if you use a pencil and really want to use a pencil, can I suggest you still use the trick of using eyeshadow with our beautiful wedge brush number 8. So what I've done on this side is I decided not to do chocolate because I did that last month. I've used midnight blue. Even though I'm warm, I love midnight blue. I think it can be used on warm and cool tones. So I've used the midnight blue. Again, it's a nice, what's the word? Non-shimmery, matte, that's the word, matte colour. And I've just taken it on my brush, you've seen me do this before, and I have lifted it so that it's slightly heavier on the outside and lifted in a wedge. And then I brought it across and tapered it in. So I haven't brought it right into that inner corner because I wanted to leave the inner corner quite light. Whereas on this side, I've brought the eyeliner all the way in, which has sort of closed my eye up a little bit. Underneath, I love wearing this underneath the eye. But again, what I've done is I've made it a little bit stronger on the outer corner and lifted it up rather than dragging it down. Whereas this side, I've just sort of brought it straight across. So I've made it slightly thicker on the outer corner and tapered it across so that it sort of makes the eye look a little bit more almond shaped on this side. So I hope you can see the difference. What I've done on the top of this eye is I've actually used a liquid eyeliner, a black. I've gone for black and I've done a liquid eyeliner and I've attempted to sort of just bring it down, which has the effect of, I think you'll see, bringing down the eye. I haven't tried, I could have tried to do a beautiful wing. That would have probably looked even worse. It looks fantastic on Emily. Emily's got beautiful, beautiful eyes, young eyes that can do that. But when I try and do that now, it doesn't look right. It's much, much softer to use the effect of an eyeshadow and a wedge brush to create that softer eyelined look. So the other thing I did on this side is I put my concealer into my inner V, whereas I didn't on that side. I just sort of left the bluiness there, which has sort of also added to the effect of closing this eye up. Now, on my good eye, I used my eyelash curlers, which has hopefully had the effect of lifting my lashes and opening my eye up more. On this side, I haven't. My lashes look really flat on this side. And I used on this side, I used our beautiful Lithe Lash Mascara in black waterproof, which I have put on really quite carefully. And I've lifted everything and I've just taken care putting my mascara on. I have put a little bit on the bottom lashes. This side, I layered it on and I used a product that had a few more clumps in it. So I basically kind of really heavily put my mascara on downwards, which again had the effect of dragging my lashes down rather than lifting everything up. And I wasn't as careful on this side. As you can see, there's a few blobs. Whereas this side, I took a cotton bud and I very carefully, when I'd done my mascara, made sure that there were no blobs using a very strong magnifying mirror, because it's very easy to put your mascara on and think it looks fine. If you don't check it in a really close-up mirror, you might end up with blobs and spots of eyeshadow and all sorts of things. Okay, under the brow, when I was young, I used to use quite a shiny, lovely highlighter to highlight the bit of my brow bone. And I've done that on this side, as you can see. I've really piled on the shimmer here, quite low, which has had the effect of really adding to that droopy, hooded look. On this side, I have still put a little bit of light, but I've used the Bring Back Brow the Instant Bright Highlighter, not my Bring Back Brow, Instant Bright Highlighter, which I have just put on literally underneath my brow in a sort of half moon shape. And the beauty of this product is it gives you a little bit of shimmer, but you can see the difference. I mean, there is a huge difference on one side to the other. So it will help to define your brow, but it won't make you look crepey and hooded. I've also used it on just on my top of my cheekbone. I think that's where the only place I put it today. Now this side, I wanted to create this effect, but I didn't use this product. I used what a lot of the lovely young girls wear on, you see them probably on Instagram and on YouTube, and lots of highlighter here, which on me, I've got lots of lines. I call them smile lines, but I have got lots of lines here. If I put a very, very shimmery highlighter here, it's just really emphasizing those lines. Whereas that side, hopefully you can see it hasn't. So that's the difference between the highlighter. Now, blusher, I needed to give myself some color. I've just recovered from 2 weeks of having the dreaded COVID, and I really haven't been very well at all. Thankfully, I'm better. So if anyone's suffering at the moment, I totally empathize. So I needed some color. So on this side, I used my beautiful cream blusher, and I used Peach Cream, this one. And I love this blusher because it goes on, I put it on with my finger, and we've done this before. The positioning of blusher makes a massive difference as well. I know that a lot of people put their blusher on the apple of their cheeks. You smile and your apple of your cheeks, sort of here. Now, as you get older, a bit like Isaac Newton's apple that fell on him and created the gravity, gravity does win out. And the apple actually drops a little bit. In fact, everything drops. So if you just put your blusher on your apple might be too low. And therefore the effect of your blusher is just a little bit too low. So actually you want to be a fraction higher than maybe you used to do when everything was more upright before gravity went out. So I've kind of put this on with my finger about the middle of my eye, where that bone is, and brought it up in a sort of teardrop shape. And the beauty of this product is you can then use a brush, you can put it on with your fingers, and then you can use the blusher brush to actually move it and blend it beautifully. I always hold the blusher brush actually at the bristles so that I'm really in control of it, and just make it into a sort of a teardrop shape. Now this side, I have used our beautiful Rosy Glow. Now I am warm toned, so Rosy Glow on me, as you can see, is just too cool, just doesn't look right. It looks lovely on Trisha, it looks lovely on cool toned ladies. I have put this on in a much more obvious sort of Aunt Sally kind of look on here, in a more of a circle in my apple. And I haven't blended it very much. And I put it on too heavily, and I haven't then used the brush to move it. So I've done incorrect placement on this side, and I've used the wrong tone for me. Likewise, on this side, I wouldn't normally use sort of an aubergine cool colour all over my lid, or a very dark one like I've done on this side. So I've used slightly wrong colours for my colouring. And what's great about Look Fabulous on the website, you can go on and you can do the colour quiz and see whether you think you are warmer or cooler or neutral. You might not be one or the other. That will help you choose the right colours for you. So I also wanted to use a little bit of bronzer. I like bronze. I love the Look Fabulous bronze. Doesn't come out this colour. So, but what I do, because I am warm and I like a little bit more colour, I actually put a tiny bit over my Peach Cream blusher. If you're cool, I wouldn't do that, but if you are warm, it can really, really enhance that. I've also used a little bit on my neck area. On this side, I've actually used more of a sort of a contour powder to try and do a contour in a very, very stripy line, which, as you can see, has made me look a little bit stripy. And I think often you see that with again, with some of the younger girls will have various sort of stripes on their face where they are contouring, pushing back with a dark color, bringing forward with a highlighter, where they call that strobing. You have to be very careful when you do that, when you try to do that, because you can end up looking stripy, as though you just haven't blended well. So finally, the lips. Now, on this side, I have used, I've used the beautiful lip prime, Never Feather lip prime, on both sides to stop my lipstick from bleeding. And I have put that on just on the outer edge. Now, what I've done on this side is I've used True Coral, and I have also used a little bit of Cinnamon Kiss lip gloss in the center, just to create, because if you've got thinner lips, actually a little bit of gloss is really nice to make your lips look a bit plumper, because it's a different tone. Now, what I've done on this side is I've used a lip liner, as you can see, in the wrong tone for me, because I've used a kind of plummy color lip liner, and I've only outlined my lips in it. And I do still see a lot of ladies doing this. They want to define their lips, so they will use a lip liner just on that outer edge. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with lip liners. I actually quite like using lip liner, but if I use a lip liner, I will use it more as a base for my lipstick. So I would use one that toned really well with my lipstick. I would outline my lips, and then I would fill in the whole of my lip with it and just smudge it a little bit so that it's a base, and then I would apply my lipstick. Because what you don't want is for your lipstick to wear off and you are then left with this outline of lip liner, particularly as you can see, it's for me the wrong, you can see that it's the wrong color. And I've used a cool lipstick which is emphasized because I've got the cool lip liner on. So it looks a little bit sort of false, but you do see a lot of ladies do that. And it's totally your choice how you do your makeup. And as I said, there's no absolute hard and fast rules, but this is what I have discovered over the years, for me, looks hopefully a little bit softer and a little bit more flattering, not having a harsh, different color lip line. So I think that's just about everything. And yeah, I think maybe we'll hand back to Trisha on that one. I hope you enjoyed that.
Okay, let me just get my, see if I can get myself up. Yeah, that's it. Okay, Sally, that was absolutely brilliant. And what a fantastic demonstration of all those small and large ways in which you can make a difference to a face. The overall impression that I get from looking at that is that when Sally, when we could see Sally's, the side of her face where she's got the makeup applied appropriately, let's call it appropriately, you see her face, not the makeup. On the other side, where she's got it in the unbalanced way, you see the makeup, not the face. And you know, it's like anything, what you're doing with makeup, you're creating an impression of somebody who looks just prettier, healthier, nicer, more sophisticated, more finished, because she's wearing the most appropriate makeup. And I think that's the most brilliant demonstration of the ways in which makeup can make all the difference to your face, as long as you've got the right products applied in the right way that you know, actually works effectively on your skin. Just me today, what I've got on, I bought this necklace last week in Sahara. I don't know whether any of you have got Sahara shops, or they're obviously online, but they do some brilliant jewelry in Sahara. And I always go in there and have a look, and they had a 10% off because it was just before Mother's Day. And these are the earrings that I love from Tulali. So I've kind of complemented what I'm wearing with my makeup. We've got this new limited edition spring makeup kit on sale at the moment. You get you save a massive 25% on the cost of each individual product. So I've used the lilac mist on my eyelids, and then I've used the aubergine as my accent colour a bit the way that Sally showed you, this outer edge to create a bit of depth and to lift the eye. And then I've used the charcoal as my lash line definer, and then used black mascara on top, and the rest of my makeup as I would normally do it, being very conscious of making sure that there are no hard lines here and so on. So I'm telling you that because people will ask, and if I don't tell you, then you have to find out some other way. On my lips, I'm wearing one of our new long-lasting lipsticks in dusky pink, which I really love. And I just wrote down here, because we've just introduced some more colours for our long-lasting lipsticks, which have been a massive, massive success for us. We are delighted with the response to them, and you are finding that these long-lasting lipsticks actually do work very effectively. What I do is I put my lipstick on in the morning. I often do retouch it just after lunch, but that tends to be it. And I'm certainly taking it off with a cleanser before I go to bed. Just in terms of the colours that we've got, I've written them down here. So the warm tone colours we've got, the long lasting, are Foxy Lady, True Coral and Russet. It will come as no surprise to you that we chose the colours according to our best sellers. We're not daft. We knew that if we introduced our best sellers as the long lasting lipsticks, that you'd be much more excited about that. So that's why we chose those. And the cool colours that we've got in long lasting are very berry, one of my favourite autumn colours, in fact. Fuchsia, which I demonstrated with the springtime kit, and the fuchsia lipstick comes with a springtime kit, which I love for spring and summer. Soft plum, I think that's a year-round one for me. Sweet pea, for those people who don't like a particularly strong colour, sweet pea is a very soft, gentle pink. And cherry red, which is one of our new ones that we've just introduced, cherry red, because for special occasions, cherry red is just beautiful. I will wear it in the summer for a daytime look if I want a real kapow, pizzazzy look. And neutral, these are really suit everybody. Rosewood, soft coral, dusky rose, which is what I'm wearing at the moment, and tulip pink. So I hope that was helpful. I don't know whether there are any questions that you have to ask me. This is the time to do that. So Emily, have we got any questions?
We haven't got anything in the chat function at the moment, but I will just give everyone a couple of minutes. If you do have any questions, pop them in.
I'm too shocked. It's all too shocking.
Pop your questions in now if you want to ask any questions. And just a reminder that during the last month since we last saw you, we have launched our fabulous hand cream. It's been selling like hotcakes, partly because we, before we launched, we sent out quite a few free ones to people in Super Troopers, and we've also got our ambassadors, and we got some fantastic, very powerful feedback as a result of people taking photographs of their hands before and after, and saying that they love the fact that it's not greasy, that it is really softening on poor old winter harshened hands. And just to flag up for you that later this month we're going to be launching another new product in our skincare range, which is a wonderful, very gentle, creamy exfoliator. So I'm really excited about that. I think exfoliation is absolutely essential on a fairly regular basis, but it must be gentle, because a harsh exfoliator on older skin is very drying, and it strips out some of the moisture that you have naturally in your skin, and you don't want that to happen. So we've made sure with our exfoliator that that's a really, it's a nourishing product as opposed to a drying product, and we're going to launch that a bit later this month. Anything, Emily?
Yeah, one from Sheila. She says, any extra tips for women who wear glasses?
Yeah, Sally, do you want to take that?
Yes, well, we've actually done a video as well, haven't we, on that, which might be worth putting the link up for that.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the description box of the video.
So Sheila, there's a whole video that we've done on glasses. Again, it depends whether you are short-sighted, long-sighted, as to whether the glasses magnify your eyes or make them look smaller. It's important, if you're wearing glasses, to see where they sit. Brows are really important, to define your brows really well. When you're wearing glasses, also see where they finish, because sometimes people put their blusher too high, so that it actually is too much showing under the glasses. So it's important to sort of, yeah, there's quite a lot to the glasses, isn't there? Really nice to do matte shadows and to define well with your eyes, I would say. And don't be frightened of wearing eyeshadow if you're wearing glasses, because actually it's quite nice to have good definition. And again, depending on your colour, the colour of the frames of the glasses, your colouring will depend on what eye shades you use with them. But I think if you put that link up, there's quite a lot there, because the other thing is it's often difficult to do your eyes when you're wearing glasses if you can't see. That's often the biggest issue. There's lots of tips on that video on how to do that.
Yeah, so when I upload this video onto YouTube, I'll put it in the description box, the link to the other video, or if you want to find it sooner than that, you can just type in glasses wearers or makeup for glasses wearers onto our YouTube channel and you'll be able to find it.
I'd just add to that as well. I always say to people who wear glasses that if you find it difficult to actually apply eye makeup because your eyesight is such that you need glasses in order to be able to see to apply your eye makeup, it's very, very difficult, because you've obviously got your glasses on and there you are, you know, I mean, how can you do it? And there aren't really very many solutions to that, unless you could perhaps wear contacts, even if it was just to apply your makeup. Obviously, very high magnification mirrors may help you. Depends on what your eyesight problem happens to be. But I always say to women, if you can't actually apply makeup because you wear glasses, make your glasses almost your eye makeup. So instead of wearing boring glasses, find a way to make your glasses interesting. Now that might be frames, it might be shape, it might be often it's color on frames. And if you then have a terrific pair of glasses that are quite noticeable, you know, quite funky, then balance that, the weight of that, which will be up here, with your lipstick, because you can't apply the eye makeup, but make your glasses work for you in terms of a style statement and a color statement, and then balance that with a really terrific lipstick and some blusher. So if you can manage to put the rest of your makeup on reasonably effectively, and then make your glasses into a part of the way that you are making your face look more finished, more interesting, and so on and so forth. A couple of weeks ago, I stayed in Cornwall with my lovely friend Sue, who I've known since I was a teenager. And I went to a Super Troopers lunch party, which was terrific fun. It was really nice to meet so many wonderful people. And my friend Sue has a terrible problem with weeping eyes, so her eyes stream constantly. She's been to the doctor, she's had a couple of procedures tried, and it doesn't seem to work terribly well. So the way she gets around that, because obviously any eye makeup like mascara and stuff just runs and everything, but she uses our pewter eyeshadow, and she puts it, she says all she does is she just puts some of this pewter eyeshadow, which is beautiful colouring on her, onto her eyelids, and then blends it really, really well, and then kind of makes that the statement on her eyes. She keeps it really simple, and actually she looked lovely, really great lipstick, and the rest of her eye makeup that she does very very professionally, and it looks lovely. So I think you adapt according to circumstances, and you know, big empathy out there for people who have issues with their eyes, but there are ways around it, and sometimes it is to give up on eye makeup if that's, you know, needs must, the devil drives. And just as I said, if it's glasses, make those glasses into your style statement. Okay, Emily, anything else?
Yeah, another one from Charlotte. She says, how do you prevent makeup getting onto your collar?
Oh, that is a massive problem. I often fail that miserably, and am constantly washing having to wash my collars. Would you believe that this jumper here that I've got, which is very pale pink, I could see that there was definitely a bit of discoloration here. I just washed that bit because the jumper wasn't dirty, and I was quite upset about it. And I literally just put some soap along the edge here and rubbed it in, rinsed it carefully underneath the tap, and then dried it. And look, it's all clean again. So I don't have any other solution besides that. You could do conservative washing if you don't want to wash the whole garment. Sally, have you got any thoughts about it?
Well, again, if you are using the right colour in terms of your foundation, when you put that on, I don't tend to bring it down. For me, getting it on is when I'm taking my clothes off and on. That's the issue if I get makeup on my my clothes. So the only thing you could do, I guess, is you could put get a thin scarf, like you do sometimes in shops, and put that over to actually protect clothes when you're taking your clothes off and on, if they're going over your head. But other than that, you know, I don't tend to bring my makeup down too far. So, but you know, it can be a problem. I would say just try and be very, very careful when you're taking garments off and on. That's the issue for me when it would happen.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Sally about bringing it how far you go. Even so, I do find maybe I've got a shorter neck than you, Sally, but my makeup does migrate onto my clothes sometimes, and I do find it incredibly frustrating. But there are mitigations that you can use. Scarves, definitely putting a scarf over your head when you're putting things on and off, for sure. But anyway, there are ways around it. I think you have to get clever. Anything else, Emily?
Linda says, I'm new to look fabulous. My face is sensitive, particularly with red down each side of the nose and cheeks. What would you recommend? Moisturizer is currently Simple and the Nivea, the Blue Tub Nivea.
Is she asking us to recommend for camouflage?
I think probably skincare.
Okay, well, you would expect me to recommend our skincare. The thing is that I have illustrated this on other calls where I used to have very, very poor skin, acne rosacea, a lot of redness, a lot of problems. I do have a spot today there, which you can probably see now. I've drawn attention to it, but I've found that since I've started using our skincare, which is serum and moisturizer, careful cleansing, and then using our night cream, my skin has cleared up dramatically. Now, I have altered my diet quite a lot as well, and by which I mean altering my diet, cutting out bread and sugar. These are the big no-nos for me, and proven to be, because if I do have any sugar for any reason, I went a bit mad over, I think it was Mother's Day weekend, but I suddenly had a breakout, which is probably the last vestige of it, is this spot here. And the formulation of our skincare is to be extremely gentle and nourishing and good for your skin. And certainly me, with my very, very difficult skin, I've been thrilled and delighted that I've been able to use our skincare. It might sound a bit weird to say that when we thought about developing a skincare range, I was quite worried about it. And I kept thinking, what if it doesn't suit me? I mean, my skin was very, very sensitive and flared up and was I would say tricky skin. And I think, well, you know, how can I sit and promote a skincare range if it's, you know, messing my skin up? And I was quite worried about it. But 2 years of working with a formulator to get it right, and me constantly testing it on my very, very dodgy, sensitive skin, proved that it actually worked brilliantly. So I would say the product, I mean, you found something that works for you. Well, does it work for you if it's still quite red? But certainly in terms of camouflage, our concealer is brilliant at covering any issues that you have like that. So I use concealer every day around here, underneath my eyes, around my nose. Onto my chin tends to be quite discoloured. I've got an age spot there, I've got another age spot there, and then I use the translucent powder to cover it up. So I hope that was helpful. Anything else, Emily?
Yeah, Elizabeth asks, she says, I have very dark under eye circles. Any help, please? We do actually have a video on that as well, which I can add into the description.
Sally, do you want to talk about that?
Yes. Can I just go back very briefly to the redness as well, just to mention that we do have a product called Colour Balance Neutralizer, and it is green. And if you've never used a green product, it counterbalances redness. So I would say this is also, if you're just trying to camouflage the redness, a little bit of this after you have done your face prime, but before you do your foundation and concealer. This can really work. Likewise for dark circles, we have if you've really got dark circles, we have a product, the Colour Balance Neutralizer in peach, and it's a real sort of peachy orangey colour, which really again works to camouflage if you've got very sort of brown area under the eye. Again, I would use this before concealer and before any foundation. But yeah, dark circles, it's, well, you could see the demonstration on this side of putting too much concealer and not blending it well, actually can make lines, because whether you've got dark circles, you might have lines as well. But if you've got dark circles, then our concealers are so creamy that they work absolutely brilliantly. If you get the right colour, it shouldn't be too light. The number 2 suits a lot of people. And just put it on to where the darkness is, and then use the concealer brush, which I showed you. So this is a fantastic brush as well, to really sort of tap it in. And I also tap the product onto dark circles rather than dragging it. The other thing I've mentioned before is you can use a tiny, tiny, tiny drop of jojoba oil over if your concealer sits in lines, and that stops it. It sort of melts the concealer into your foundation. Using a little bit of our translucent powder, because it's so sheer, will also not sit in the lines. It will just hold that concealer in place. It's absolutely brilliant. So it's just sort of getting the right shade concealer, using the right amount, blending it well, and then putting just a little bit of powder, really sheer powder over the top, can make a massive difference. And if there's real dark circles, then try using the colour balance neutralizer before you put the concealer on, only a tiny amount.
Thank you very much. And then the last question from Angie, she asks, what about disguising jowls?
Jowls, well, again, yes, that's the whole gravity thing, isn't it? Everything coming down. What you can do is you can use our bronzer actually as a little bit of a contour powder. So just a little tiny bit onto the area here is like dark pushing back, because it's not too orangey. I wouldn't do it if the bronzer was really orangey, but it isn't. It doesn't come out this colour. If you put a tiny bit just onto that jowl area, it just will push it and make it look a little bit sharper. And I would say also, by wearing lovely eye makeup, nice lipstick, and detracting away and lifting everything upwards, that makes a massive difference. Where you place your blusher, if you've got jowls and you place your blusher too low, that will also emphasize that jowl area too. That helps. Any other thoughts on that, Tricia?
No, I totally agree with what you just said there. We are personally very conscious of those imperfections like jowls. So I've got jowls here, okay, so and I could get rid of them. Look, oh, you know, I do that sometimes. I look in the mirror. Do you do that? You know, you look in the mirror and you pull it up and you think, oh, look, they disappeared. How brilliant would that be? Well, you know, whatever. I'm not going to go that route. You know, of having the whole of my skin sort of pinned behind my ears in order to get rid of my jowls. They're a fact of life. They're a fact of me being 74 years old. But I feel like nobody's going to notice those jowls if I've got enough going on up here. People don't look at those bits that you're obsessed with. They never did. You know, I used to be obsessed with my fat ankles and my big hips. Nobody cares about my fat ankles and big hips because people don't. So the point is, with you, it's the same with jowls. These are a fact of life. And I just feel like, you know, other people aren't as obsessed with them as perhaps you are, but a little bit of bronzer. The thing about putting a darker shadow here, you know, slight shadowing here, is that, remember what Sally says, you know, dark recedes, so you've got less of a contrast. So, you know, maybe you can make them look better that way. My philosophy on all of these things, these obvious signs, what we've been taught and told, and you know, it's been hammered into us, are the signs of aging, as if that's some kind of terrible sin that you've committed by getting older. I think you have to just say it's as it is, but I've got a lot of other things going on, and that's what people will be looking at, including things like a funky pair of sunglasses or a great pair of earrings or a, you know, jazzy necklace. So,
and also where your hair finishes as well. You don't necessarily want hair to finish right on that part of your jowl. So where your hair is, if it's higher up, again, it's just detracting away from areas that you're not so happy with, as Tricia said, either with glasses or earrings or hairdo or lovely lipstick or something else.
Thank you, Sally. Emily, anything else?
That's it for today. Thank you.
Okay, brilliant. So big, huge warm to Sally. You did an absolutely brilliant job there. And what was fantastic about Sally's demonstration was that it wasn't subtle, you know, it was very obvious, and the difference was stark. Bringing home, I hope, to all of you just how important application is alongside using the right products. So I do hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found it useful, and thank you for coming. Thank you for coming on this dreary, well, perhaps it's brightening up, dreary Monday morning, and it was lovely to have your company, as it always is. So thank you, Sally, and thank you to Emily for your inputs, and bye-bye everybody. Have a lovely week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.